You may now enter the examination hall. No talking, please. This is the Natural Sciences Tripos Part 2 in 2020, Astrophysics Paper 1. All electrical devices must be powered off and outside the examination hall or you may risk disqualification. The time is now 4 minutes past 12. You may now begin and turn over your paper. You have 10 minutes remaining. The examination has ended. Please put your pens down and remain seated. You're still under exam conditions.
Hello everyone and welcome to my final year Cambridge exam season at home. I am bricking it. I'm so nervous and I always get nervous for exams, so I don't know why I'm surprised at myself, but here I am feeling a teeny bit sick and my first exam starts in 20 minutes time. Isn't that lovely? I'll just do a quick introduction for those of you who don't know me. I'm Paige, I am a third year student at the University of Cambridge. I'm in my final year and I am just about to start my final exams. I have got 4 exams that are each 3 hours long over the next week and then I'll be done. I will have completed a degree, apart from a Viva that I've got to do at the end of June, but let's not talk about that. I study natural sciences and this year I specialised in astrophysics, so the subject matter of my exams is pretty cool. I get to answer exam questions on cosmology and stellar structure and evolution, the dynamics of galaxies. The one thing I'm not excited about though is the location of my exams, because as you can see right now, I am sitting in my bedroom at home. We are currently all still on lockdown. I can't go to an exam hall and sit my exams as I normally would. So everyone is sitting their exams at home this year. It feels really weird, but I've tried to set up as best I can. I've got a box of tissues behind me so that if I need to cry during the exam, I'm sorted. Let me show you around my room.
So here we have the examination hall for one candidate. As you enter the room, you see the examination table. This is one perk of seeing exams at home. I have this massive space to spread out all my work rather than the tiny square desks that we usually get in exams. On my setup, I've got a laptop in case I need to look anything up. It is allowed, it's not cheating. Our exams are open book and we can use the internet if we want to. Got my calculator, bottle of water, formula book for all those useful formulae that I might need during the exam, paper, a pencil case. It's not a clear one, but I don't think anyone's going to tell me off for that this year. And then you make it to the bed where I've got all of my notes from this year. On top of each set of lecture notes, I've got a cheat sheet for each module. And basically I've written down all the key points from each module that I want to be able to remember or recall quickly, so that when I go on to answering a question for each module, I can just refer to the cheat sheet. I have 8 modules, so you can see 8 stacks here. I'm going to be sitting here and then suddenly when I flip to a question on a certain module, I'm going to grab the necessary pile. And over there are my flashcards, my beloved flashcards, which I was worried wouldn't help me that much this year since my exams are open book, but I think it's still useful to have a lot of it in the brain because there's not much time to be flicking through notes in the exam. I'm not sure whether I'll actually refer to them during the exam. They're more of a revision tool, but they're over there laid out if I need them.
And yeah, now I am just waiting until midday, at which point I can download the exam online and print it off. We don't actually have to print it off if we don't want to. We can work off our laptops or computers, But for me, I like to write on the actual exam paper and circle questions that I want to do and star things I want to come back to. Also, I forgot to mention that I'm wearing my denim dress today, and this is purposeful because I wore this dress on my first day of my first year exams in first year, and also the first day of my exams in second year. So it's a bit of a tradition that this is my first exam outfit. I am going to sit down and go through some final flashcards in my last 15 minutes or so before my exam, but I will speak to you guys afterwards. I'm so nervous. Don't make me do it. Why? Oh. Okay, that is one exam complete. It was okay, you know? It was actually okay. I finished about an hour ago, but it's taken me, no joke, an hour to scan all of my answers. The way they're doing it is we download the paper and then we scan all our answers and send them off afterwards, except there's so much labeling you have to do. You need to put your blind grade number on every single sheet. You've got to number your pages in each answer. You have to put them into different bundles depending on the letter assigned to each question. You have to do a separate master cover sheet and also cover sheets for each separate bundle. It's quite confusing, and I'm so paranoid that I'm going to suddenly lose pages of my answers, and I want everything marked, you know? Yeah, I'm not going to dwell on the exam I just had too much because I always psych myself out. I always manage to convince myself that I've done worse than I actually have done. Or I could convince myself that I've done better than I actually have done. I'm so bad at judging how exams go that I'm just not even going to think about it. I'm feeling quite pleased with myself. I've made an achievement. I've done an exam. So I've come out for a walk with my parents, getting some fresh air. The weather has been so beautiful recently and I feel like I've missed it all because I've just been revising in my room, and every time I've looked outside, it's brilliant blue skies. But I'm outside a newsagent's. This is the closest I've been to a shop in months. Hello everyone. So I have taken a bit of time off this afternoon just because exams are pretty intense, you know, the adrenaline gets going, you're focusing for 3 hours straight and you're really going for it. But now I'm back at my desk after having dinner. I've got my paper from earlier here. As I mentioned before, we have 8 modules this year and each paper has a question from each module. So there's 8 questions per paper, a question per module, which means you can't just divide your revision up into modules and focus on this module before paper 1 and focus on this module before paper 2 because every single module is assessed in one paper. It kind of makes it harder to revise for papers and you have to spread yourself a bit more thinly, but it does mean you have a better idea of what questions are going to come up in future papers. Once a topic is assessed in the first paper, I can be pretty certain it's not going to come up in the second paper, the third paper or the fourth paper. So I can basically tick topics off that they've already asked about. It basically means I have a better chance of predicting what questions are going to come up later in the week, and I can tailor my revision towards those topics. So I'm going to get out my handy little Excel spreadsheet I've made, which has all my modules broken down into subtopics. I originally made it as a revision list so that I could tick things off once I'd revised them, but now I'm going to make it into a checklist of what has been asked about already in exams. So today I was asked about Lorentz boosts. See, I didn't do the second part of this question, so I don't actually know what it was asking about. Timing is really a killer with these exams. There's a bit of a different marking system this year to what I'm used to. They reward people who have got more stuck into one question as opposed to completing lots of small parts of different questions. So it can actually be better to answer less questions in the exam, but do a more complete attempt at the ones you do answer. We're allowed to answer up to 6 questions out of the 8 that were given in the exam paper. And really, when you're in the exam, it's hard to figure out what is best to spend your time on. And I don't know, hopefully I made the right decisions in the exam today. I did sacrifice some parts of some questions. It had to be done. The 3 hours we're given is definitely not enough to complete 6 questions fully. The next module I answered a question on today was Astrophysical fluid dynamics. They asked about accretion disks. Oh, there was some messy algebra in this question actually. I'm pretty sure I saw an error in one of the exam questions. The trouble with us all sitting exams at home this year is we can't raise any mistakes in the exam paper with the examiners. Normally, when you're in an exam hall, the examiners are present for the first 20 minutes of the exam and you can query things in the paper if you need to. However, when we're all sitting them at home, we have no means of contacting the examiners and querying what is written. And we've just been told to make a note on our exam paper if we think there is an issue. I think there is an issue with this. Or maybe I'm just being really stupid. That's also an option. I'm pretty convinced they've made a mistake. But anyway, I'm going to get on with ticking off topics and do some light revision this evening. I don't have an exam tomorrow, I have a day off. It's been an okay first day of exams. Getting stressed about exams is intrinsic to my personality. I don't know why I'm always so on edge, especially this year when they don't matter as much, because I do have a safety net, which means if the grade I get in these exams is less than the 2-1 that I got last year, my grade will automatically be bumped up to a 2-1 anyway. The one requirement of me this year is to pass these exams. It's not like I've been sitting around doing nothing, so I'm quietly confident that I can do that. Anyway, I will speak to you guys tomorrow. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Action.
Astrophysics. Stop.
Action.
Action! I can't believe it. Stop. I don't know how